There she is, folks. Oh my goodness, everybody on this old river knows exactly who this gentleman is sitting beside me. But just in case you're the one person out there that just moved here from Ontario yesterday, this is Terry Whalen. You go Terry, you go Junior, right?
Yeah, I guess I do. I mean, there's a lot of people that probably, believe it or not, though, don't know that I have a father, Terry.
Right.
So I'm known as Terry Whalen, but I am Terry Junior, and I have a son, Terry the Third.
Oh, right.
So there's three of us.
Is he the guy that I see that's doing like architecture kind
He
of
is.
thing?
He is an architectural designer. He has his own company.
Oh, right on.
Called TJW Home Designs.
Oh, right on.
And he's also into collectibles. So he does another thing on the side called Nerd Cave Collectibles. So he'd be at this weekend. There's a comic convention called Miracon, and he'll be there. I'll be there because
Right.
in addition to music and my sports past, I'm also an artist.
Oh, right.
Which a lot of people don't know.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Well, I would say just when I hear a musician, I go artist right there.
Right. Yeah.
So that's good enough for me.
But
you know what? So we're here today from I would say the main reason that you've been in my head to get into to talk was Kenny Blackear, who you're married to Kenny's sister.
Donna. Yeah.
And so Kenny's a good friend of mine and a good friend of the family, and he was actually telling me about what this comic what's going on. Like, he told me a little bit about it.
The comic or the music?
The comic thing first.
Well,
yeah.
I've always, from the time I was a kid, and even before starting school, and when I, back in my day, there was no kindergarten, so you started school in grade 1.
Yeah.
I used to sit and draw at a little coffee table and stare out the window and draw all the time. So I would have been 4 or 5, so I always had an interest in art.
Yes.
And I remember when I could go to school, I thought I was going to go to school and do art,
Oh,
you know.
wow. Right.
Till did I know I had to do math and writing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was always an artist at heart.
Right.
And, you do it and you sketch, and so that's always been there. But, I mean, all through school, really, there was no art in school.
Right.
There was no music in school.
But, like, how old are you?
I'm 60. I just turned 60 in January.
So, because when I went through, we started doing it. Like,
Right.
I remember Mr. Nason, Terry Nason
Right.
was teaching
Yes.
art, and then
Yeah.
David Burnell was music.
Yeah. So those guys came along after me.
Oh, yeah?
So I never got any of that. So
Oh, wow.
even though I had art in me, I never had it was all self-developed. I'd see something and I'd try and draw it. So there was no art lessons to speak of, and there was no music either.
Right.
And I had the same passion for music at a young age. It all comes from the same part of the brain.
Sure.
So it was there. I'd see music, someone playing a banjo on hee-haw or something, you know what I mean? I said, oh man, that looks fun, and so, you start asking for guitars and banjos and drums, and in our family, and it was always a sports family. My father was big into sports,
Yes.
known around the river as Mr. Baseball when he was younger.
Yeah.
And
Well, we've mentioned him, Roger and I have mentioned him 25 times. We've showed his photo.
Yeah.
And it's a very decorated, and he put so much time
he
into
did
it.
put a lot of time into it. He's 86 now. He's nearing the end of his life, having some struggles.
Right.
But not in any pain, and a few memory issues and things like that. But it was a sports family.
Right.
We grew up in a sports family, and it was a blue collar family. My dad worked. My mom was a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
So there was no extra money for extra things.
Yes.
The only money that was available was for a new ball glove or a new pair of skates or a hockey stick or something like that. So, me asking for a guitar or drums, they would just... And even though music is on my mother's side of the family, Hazel, she was a tailor.
Okay.
And her brother, Driver Francis, was a well-known name in the Folk Song Festival.
Oh, we just showed him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, just from the 1982 Folk Song Festival, Driver Francis.
Driver.
Oh, so he's your uncle.
He is.
Yeah, we just spoke about him.
He's my mother's brother, and then
Yeah.
but she has another brother, Clarence, that was in with the Miramichi Fiddlers and the guitar. First time I ever got to hold a guitar was one of his.
Oh, wow.
At Christmas time, and I would have been grade 10.
Oh, wow. So did you take did you take to it right away?
Look, there was probably nobody less talented on a guitar when they started. Because I'll be honest, and I hate to do this to Clarence in case he ever sees it.
Yeah.
But we were back at his place over Christmas, and he played a couple of songs. Says, here's a guitar. Here's how to play a D or a G. And I remember struggling, and he turned to my mother and said, he'll never learn to play guitar. You know, but here's a guy that it came naturally to him. You know,
Yeah.
it was a tougher deal for me.
Yeah.
But you know, in my head, I said, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. But I never mentioned that to him ever since. And but so my first guitar that I was able to buy. Now Clarence did lend me a guitar in grade 10. I took it home. It's an electric guitar and a little amp.
Right on.
But once I got home and the guitar got out of tune, I didn't know how to tune it.
Yeah.
You know, so eventually I returned it. Well, in grade 11, I moved away from home to play junior hockey in St. John.
Oh, yeah?
So I was playing hockey with a junior team in St. John called the Stingers.
Oh, yeah?
And one of the guys on the team had a guitar.
Oh, right on.
And he sold it to me for $50. So that was my first guitar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so when was anybody teaching you there and giving you lessons?
No,
there?
I had no friends that played guitar.
Right.
So it wasn't until I got to university. So I beat around on grade 11, grade 12, knew nothing.
Oh, wow.
And never was in tune. So once I got to university, you get to residence, everyone's got a guitar.
Yeah, right on.
So that was awesome.
That's when the eyes start to open.
Yeah,
the mind starts to expand.
Yeah,
it's like, whoa, there's stuff going on out here.
But, you know, again, I was focused on sports. I was playing hockey, a lot of baseball.
Yeah.
So the guitar and art and those types of things took a back seat, for sure.
Yeah.
And then in 90s... would have been 93. I went to St. Thomas in 83, got a university degree in political science and history.
Yeah.
It really doesn't qualify you for anything. You know, you have a liberal arts degree.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did, being in Fredericton, I got a job at the music store.
Okay.
Because that was in there, right?
Yeah,
I had
right on.
and I worked there for a year, and then Don and I got married, and you know, started having kids, and I had a little family construction business with my dad and my brother. Derek, and eventually this wasn't what I wanted to do, so I went back to school 5 years later, or 6 years later, and did my education degree and became a teacher.
Oh, right on.
So I didn't start teaching until I was 33. I was a little bit older,
Oh, yeah.
but I realized that's where I wanted to be.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so...
And so where'd you do most of your teaching? Because I was actually going to ask you all these things off camera. So where did you do most of your teaching?
Well, the first job I got
Yeah.
was at Miramichi Valley High School. We were living in Fredericton at the time.
Yeah.
And it was a chance to come home.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the typical story. You know, you leave the Miramichi and you say, I'm never coming back.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Well, I've been here for 5 months, and everybody says, when are you going back to Vancouver? And I've been saying in 2 weeks for about 3 months now.
Yeah. So I've been a teacher at Miramichi Valley High School for this year it'll be 27 years. But for the last 2.5 years, I've been working at the district doing this music wellness initiative.
Right on.
And it has to do with songwriting. It's really music therapy. I mean, that came about, and there was a course that I was teaching at Miramichi Valley. Obviously, through the years, I had guitar clubs and songwriting clubs at dinner time. Because the music was a high priority for me. It really was.
Yeah.
Saved my life. It was my own mental wellness.
It's
benefit.
a free pill.
It is.
It's a free pill,
Absolutely.
and this is one of the things I keep coming back to with Raj is like, music and art. It's a free pill. Getting outside of nature's a free pill.
Yeah.
Volunteering your time is a free pill.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to cut you off.
No,
you've taught, and then the music. So a couple of years ago, or like 2.5 years.
2.5 years. COVID happened.
Yes.
And then right after COVID, and everyone got back to school, they started realizing how important mental health was and different ways that we could help kids get through COVID.
Yes.
And I have been teaching for about 5 years a course at Miramichi Valley High School called Mental Wellness Through Music.
Okay.
I'm not a music therapist. I'm not trained, but I can look at music therapy or therapy through using music, right?
Sure.
So it was quite unbelievable, but our superintendent, the first day, was doing a speech, and he mentioned music therapy. Mm-hmm. This was 6 or 7 years ago, and a light bulb went off.
Right.
And I said, music therapy, that's me. That's
Right
so
on.
3 days later, my principal, Sean Wood, came to me. He said, look, we got an open period. Is there anything you'd like to teach? And I'm sure he meant any of the courses that you've taught before. And I said, I'd like to teach music therapy.
Right
you
on.
know. And he said, well, so they have this thing called local option. You can develop courses. So I did. And I taught it, and it developed, and I worked with a lot of at-risk students.
Okay.
students that were dealing with drug abuse, mental, physical abuse, all kinds of mental health issues.
Sure.
And that was primarily what it was set up for. And then after COVID happened,
Yeah.
the superintendent knew what I was doing. I said to him, I was playing at O'Donoghue's one night, and I said, I'm doing this thing at the school. I think this could work district-wide. Mm-hmm. And he said, do up a proposal. So I went home that night, did it up, sent it to him. And the next day he said, look, come down and see me. Went down, and boom, I'm seconded to the district for a pilot project to try and win the schools and work with kids.
Right on, man.
And it just has expanded from that to...
Right on. Well, you're really, really, really speaking to me right now, and it's inspiring me because I have been envisioning, I kind of have like a very organic mentoring business in Vancouver. Now, when I say, it's not my primary earning, but I have through my studio, and I keep on trying to formulate how I'm going to make a go at doing it. Mm-hmm. So when I talk to somebody like you telling me the story right now, it's really hitting me. So keep sharing.
Well, look, mental wellness is everything now. There's so many people. I think we all deal with mental health issues.
Sure.
And we just deal with it.
Sure.
Unfortunately, some people deal with it through drinking or,
yes.
But there are positive ways. Some people just keep busy.
Yes.
Some people build boats in the backyard, whatever it might be.
Right.
And for me, it's been primarily art and music.
Yeah, right on.
Those two things.
Are these your backyard?
This one here, the Eddie Van Halen sneakers, is a painting that I did. I'm a huge Eddie Van Halen fan.
Oh, right on. That's cool. That's cool.
And that is one that this one here I didn't do, but that the red sneakers is a painting of mine.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
And Valerie Bertinelli got them in the divorce.
She very well may. Or their son, Wolfgang, probably got mostly everything.
Oh, yeah? What about those guitars down there? Is that you?
No, it's not. Those ones, not mine either.
Okay.
Look, if you went into our house,
yes,
because you can do something like art.
Yes.
Every time there's a gift to be bought, I make it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my wife Donna said, look, will you stop doing paintings? There's no room on the walls left. Yeah. So, but if you go in the house, there's almost everything on the wall is something that I've done.
Yeah, right on. That's cool.
Yeah.
My neighbor, or my mom's neighbor, Roger's neighbor, who we're doing the project, her name is Edie Sabo. She's from Hungary, and she's giving away paintings they're everywhere in the hospital. She's a talented oil, and she just gave me yesterday the painting that she has done that she likes the best. She brought me into her house and gave it to me.
Wow.
It was emotional for me.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful painting. It's going to hang at my mother's house. And she's a special. I went over and did a little thing on her in our little project.
Cool.
Yeah. So Terry Whalen, what a great Miramichi I'm sitting. I feel so comfortable right now with you, and everybody has told me that and how great you are, and you're doing you're right. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing with the students, and then we'll get you to play a song.
Yeah, absolutely. So I go into. Normally I get 5 or 6 schools a year or semester, so I'll go in, and mostly middle schools, but some high schools. Mm-hmm. I'll go in, they'll identify students that will benefit from what I'm doing.
Yes.
So they'll bring the students in, and we will sit and we'll just talk, and we'll write lyrics. It's all their lyrics, it's all what they're dealing with. Some of the lyrics are very deep.
Yes.
Dealing with stuff that they're dealing with.
Yes, I heard a song the other day.
We're looking at stuff like, bullying. That's a big one at school, right?
Yeah.
So, and they will write about everything. They will write about stuff they won't talk about. That's the interesting thing.
Yep.
They will, because of how it comes out. It's almost like you're tricking them a little bit. You're not, of course.
Yeah.
So we write the lyrics, and any of the ones that are capable enough to play, we'll play. Or I'll show them how to play some chords. And a lot of the music is directed by me on guitar, and I have a little drum machine, and I can go back to my office and play bass and fill it all in so it's a complete song. And then they get recorded, and then the local radio station, 95.9 Rewind FM, every Friday morning has a segment called Taking Notes. Right on. And for 2.5 years, they've been playing these original songs.
Oh, well. And we're going to be late on this, but Lily Savoy's song will be playing tomorrow at 8:25, I've been told.
Yes, it will be.
Which is very cool, man. That is a really, really excellent project. It's tangible. The kids are actually doing something that's out there. and it's their work.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
amazing.
remember
It's wonderful.
when I started releasing music at 43,
Yeah.
because I was late getting into, because you get married and the music thing takes a back seat while you're raising your kids.
Yeah.
So I started releasing original music in 07.
Yeah.
And one of the local radio stations on a Sunday morning called Homebrew on 99.3 The River played one of my songs.
Oh,
I was sitting in the car and it was cool.
Yes, man.
It was absolutely cool hearing one of your songs. So I never forgot that.
Yeah.
So these kids are getting to experience that, hear their song on the radio, hear their name.
Yeah.
That's a cool moment.
Absolutely. And it's positive and it gives confidence.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can continue with it. And you know what? We got to be doing art. We you know, one of the things I think is most important is we have to be doing art for ourselves, for the love of it.
Yeah.
And then that's number one.
Yeah.
You know, that's like, you know, so this is what it seems like to me you're you know, doing with these children.
Well, look, I mean, it's corny to say that, you know, you want to give back. I mean, I'm 60 now, I'm getting older. I still love going out and playing my songs at a gig for me, but there's something really important.
Yeah.
It's something I want to do. It's something I want to help other people be able to do what I did.
Right on.
And if I can somehow give back in some way, I'm getting more of it because every time I write a song with these kids, I think my songwriters can get it better.
Yeah.
You know, I'm learning from them.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? So,
no doubt. I don't think it's corny at all. Come on,
you know. Anyway, you know, so I just somebody said, "Well, you know, I want to give back." You know, that's the old line, right? But it's not a line.
It's not. It's
it feels good when you like tomorrow morning. I'll be listening in and hear Lily's song. I know that she'll be at her school with the school will be playing it. Her mom will be at James Hill. She's in EA there, and they'll listen in and hear that and. That's cool.
It's really cool. And, you know, even if you say you're worn out and you're getting on with it at playing gigs, guess what? You're going to be playing a gig right now. So I'm going to... Okay, just a sec. I'll get this set up. So, Terry, thanks for that little intro there.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can introduce a song. You can do whatever you want.
Well, this song actually was written on Christmas Day, I'm going to say 7 or 8 years ago. And, you know, Christmas Day, you have the great big turkey feast, and all you want to do afterwards is go to lay down and have a sleep.
Yes.
And my parents were there, and some people around. I couldn't do that, so I picked up the guitar, and in 10 minutes I wrote this song called Some People, and it's about first impressions.
Okay.
So here, you know, this is your first impression of me, maybe.
Yep.
And sometimes first impressions are accurate, but sometimes they're not, and that's on both ends.
Yep.
So this came out, and up until a song I wrote last week with a good friend of mine from Newfoundland, I think this is probably the best thing I've ever written.
Oh, right on.
Anyway, I believe so, and I get a lot of compliments on it. It's called Some People, and it goes like this. Some people walk around like they're 10 feet tall, while others make the way you don't see it all. Some people are smart, they think they know it all. Well, these are the ones that are the furthest to fall. Well, let me tell you what I believe. Oh, there's more to most people than you first see. Oh, there's more to most people than you first see. Some people you hear from across the room, and some you wouldn't hear in an empty tomb. Some people spread lies like they were true. Oh, what are decent people supposed to do? Well, let me tell you what I believe. Oh, there's more to most people than you first see. Oh, there's more to most people than you first see. You Some people are strong, carry more than their share, while others lay around like they just don't care. Some people will never have enough. They'll move to bigger houses just to store that stuff. Well, let me tell you what I believe. Oh, there's more to most people than you perceive. Oh, there's more to most people than you perceive. You see their best and you see their worst. The impression you remember is the one you first see. The impression you remember is the one you first see. Oh, the one you first see. Oh, the one you first see.
Oh wow, Terry, that was so beautiful.
Thank you.
I really love that. I took that in, like, you know, I'm a guy that usually goes to singer-songwriter style of music. That was really, really good.
Thank you.
It really was. And I appreciate that 100%. That's a great Miramichi, folks. And you see the humbleness, you know, very multifaceted, athletic, career, music, art. You know, you inspired me for the short time that I've been here already, and I really thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Jamie.
Oh, Raj, well, I'll tell you what, I went up to Terry Whalen's last night and I felt so comfortable. That tune that he played for us right there, wasn't that fantastic? That was so excellent. I just took it in. I've listened to it a couple of times since I've been home, Raj. It's really good. And Terry Whalen, the project that he spoke of, and we mentioned a young girl named Lily Savoy who happens to be part of our family. We just heard her song on the radio, on the river, and Terry Whalen's project, he plays and produces it, and then a student gets to play a song on a Friday morning. So that was just so good. It was really, really well done as well. So congratulations, Lily, for having your tune on the radio. So Raj, yesterday I also had a chance to go up to the Autism Center in Douglastown, and I spoke to a girl named Charlie Summers, and I just thought it would be a good idea for her to kind of tell us what's going on up there and educate us. She's in a place called the Book Nook, so we're going to play that right now. Well, 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 where am I sitting right now, and who am I sitting with, and what is this all about? Well, I am with, it's Charlene Summers, but somebody that has a smile like that has to go by a nickname, so they call her Charlie. And Charlie, where are we right now?
We are at the Book Nook. This is a social enterprise for Autism Resources Miramichi, where we hire neurodivergent individuals.
Oh, right. Say that again. You hire, say again?
Neurodivergent individuals.
Neurodivergent.
Neuro.
So why don't you further explain what that would mean and just educate us on what that means?
Let's just use, I hate to put labels on it, but
Yeah.
there'd be, autism or FASD or ADHD, anything
Okay.
like that. Anything that an individual would feel that they may need extra help. We're here to help them with that, build those skills here within the Book Nook.
Okay, so the Book Nook, where is it located? And tell us a little bit more about the Book Nook.
We're located on 1 Allen Street in the same building as Calico Cafe.
Yeah.
And upstairs, of course, in the cafe is the Book Nook, and Autism Resources is downstairs.
Okay, right on. So what are we gonna do? You're just gonna. So you guys. So what do you guys do here at the Book Nook? Like, what's the primary project?
Hiring staff who need that extra support.
Okay,
For
right
sure.
on.
Yeah, and we're going to turn it into a training facility for customer service, some cash, just some job readiness skills.
Okay. So what else goes on at your center? So
Oh.
yeah.
We got lots going on.
Yeah?
Yeah, especially now. we're getting ready for summer camp. So we have 4 staff this year, and we hold a day camp for autistic individuals.
Yeah.
And we do that all summer, and then at the end of the summer we have a big bash. So we go and have a family camp. So we rent out the Sheldrick Lake camp, and we spend the weekend there, and we give that one-on-one support that they need. Some children aren't able to enjoy camp or have the experience of camp, but with us there, they absolutely can.
Oh, right on. So how long has this place been around for?
It's 2007, 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Oh, for that long? In this same location?
We used to own the building, actually, and because, of course, there's lots of maintenance, and as a nonprofit, we were able to sell it to Calico, and we made an agreement where we share the building. So,
right on.
yeah, thank goodness for Calico for sure. They saved our butt many times. And
Yeah, Calico Coffee. So we'll give a little. There's Calico Coffee. I come over here, and it's a great spot too. It's spacious. It's a great spot to sit down. There's lots of different things going on. There's like, if we take a look around right now. You know, oftentimes when I'm over here, there's kids playing. There's people having their coffee. There's a good view of Centennial Bridge right there. And so how long have you been kind of working in this, what's the word I'm looking for?
This field?
Yeah, this field.
Well, I'm 37 now, and when I was 19, I started working with a special care home, and within that, they had autism and
right on.
Yeah, or Asperger's, I should say, for the elderly neurodivergence, and I've continued with that since.
Right on. Well, I met you naturally just by sitting here, and I must say that the way that you carry yourself, it's very, very charming. There's always a big smile, and I can see that you're doing a really good job here.
Thanks.
So how many neurodivergent people are you guys helping out or working with?
All over Miramichi and surrounding areas.
Yeah.
On a daily, we could see. Depending on the days, of course, and what's happening, there's a lot of meetings outside of the one-on-ones, but typically between 15 and 30 within the week for sure.
Oh, right on. And then so resources are coming from all different kind of angles. You're probably constantly fundraising and doing some work, and you're excited about the weekend coming up.
Very.
And why don't you explain a little bit more about what's happening this weekend?
We have a huge fundraiser happening this weekend. It's Magic at the Cinema. We have BJ, who is a production company that's around. He's worked with Disney, he's worked with Pixel, he's worked with many different companies, which I'm so excited for.
Right.
And they're coming here, and they're going to do a drive-in movie theater.
Oh, right on.
So within the drive-in movie theater, of course, we're going to have the bouncy castles and family fun and a canteen, and of course our donation bins to help support the cause.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
I did have a question in the back. Okay, so for people on the Miramichi here, like, is there anything that you'd like to say about what you're doing and about this place that could better educate people, or like what the ultimate, what your ultimate vision is here, and things like that? And before you even answer that, we go natural here, so sorry if there's a little bit of background noise or voices there, and that's just the way it is. We're at a coffee shop.
We're at a coffee shop, exactly. Yeah.
So maybe if you could elevate your voice just a little bit more. I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
You look good on the camera.
Thanks. So with us, for sure, it's the resources. Within our resources, we try to get funding to hire different individuals to support the neurodivergent individuals that we do have, through grants, fundraisings, all of that. So we are working on getting a job coach coming here. We partner with so many wonderful companies and different people.
I'm sure.
Yeah, we do. Right now, what my goal is right now is to turn the Book Nook into, like I said, a training center for our people.
Yeah.
And by doing that, we partner with Inclusion NB and Working NB, or Pedal. There's so much. There's a lot happening that behind the scenes, people wouldn't even know.
Yep, I'm
Yeah.
sure. And it's I'm sure you're working with families
Absolutely.
closely.
Yep.
You're learning everybody's different that comes. You got to think about everybody's different styles and needs and whatnot. What about art? Is art involved in
Art
any way?
is involved. Art
Yeah?
is involved. Especially during the winter months, we try to have art classes.
Oh yeah.
Again, that's all volunteer based. So if anybody's looking to come and explore that and try to teach our people some art, come on over, because
Yeah.
we're all welcome. Anything in the community that you think would help, and even just a social interaction of individuals, then let's do it. Let's do it together, and I'm here to support. And if we get the support, we'll do it.
Okay, right on. I'm just going to take a little walk around. Why don't you just follow me, and then I'll go over and get that logo that you guys got there, and then we'll just kind of sign off.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll just show a little bit of the space. I won't show anybody that's sitting in here. So, you can see that books come by donation, as I've been noticing, Charlie?
Yes, they do. It's all
Most
donation
books.
based.
And, there's a lot of things going on in here. This table has different display at times. So they're partnered up with Calico Coffee. And that's a better angle. Don't worry, nobody's on video here. That's a better angle of the coffee shop. And then so when you walk in, it says closed, but you're here. So sometimes you're here and you put a closed sign on.
No, we
I'm
have
just
the
joking.
staff. The staff come at 10 o'clock. Because our donations, the book sales are what pays our staff.
Right.
So within that, books aren't that popular these days. Let's change that, though. Let's change that. We used to have 5 staff, but we weren't able to keep up with it, so now we're down to 3.
Okay.
Limited hours, so come on in and buy some books.
Yeah, right on. And with bookstores and whatever, they can always only grow. It's
That's
non-ending. So there's a lovely logo, the Book Nook, bringing books back. Well, I'm on board with that. I love my reading. And Charlie, thank you very much. I appreciate you just sitting down and being yourself.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Well, thank you, Charlie. So there's a big, hey Raj, you know what she was just saying? She said there's a great big weekend movie night tonight at the NBCC parking lot. They're doing a drive-in. It's a traveling drive-in show. And so that's their fundraiser for the autism. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah. Charlie, I just met her up there, a few weeks ago, and we just started chatting. I said, okay, why don't you tell us about what you're doing? Okay, so this is episode 50 of Mirami-histor-chi, the local historian. He's kind of off the camera now, fiddling through what we're going to be doing. I got to go on a little spiel now. Roger, this is episode 50, so we decided we're going to try to get to 50. This is it. This will be our last episode here. It's been such a great project for me personally. I don't know, Raj, what my trip home from Vancouver. I've been home for 5 months. The passing of my father, Roger's brother, and we decided to go start packing through Roger, the local historian's collection. Decades and decades and decades and decades and decades and decades of newspaper clippings through the Leader, the Northumberland News, the Miramichi Press. It's a personal collection. Yes, we're from Logieville, so his personal collection is skewed to the south side, the Chatham, Logieville side. But, we did our best to try to spread out and do things. It's been a great project for me personally. I don't know what I would have done, Raj, or how my trip home at this profound time for me would have been without this project. This has been absolute therapy. It's been so good. I've met so many cool people just by giving them a call, going up to their places, and I tried to combine a little bit of art with everything here, and the project was organic, and we just did what we were going to do. So this is it. We're going to try to put 2 bonus episodes, 1 bonus for sure, hopefully 2. It won't be in this kind of the same setting, so it'll be a little bit different. So Raj, I just want to go through, Raj is going to fiddle through and get ready for what we're going to do today. We did 50 episodes. Episode number 11 is when I started going out and showing nature, and they could just really quickly, and that just started happening at episode 11. Otherwise, we were here. Episode 12, I was driving along and I started playing the first music. And the first song was actually my favorite artist, the guy that's been so influential to me, Bob Dylan. I played it off of this live album of Dylan in the 70s doing his Christian phase. It was called Every Grain of Sand. He's so incredible. Episode 15, then I started getting in. I played the Logie Bill two-step by Matilda Murdoch. Now I got in touch with Matilda's granddaughter since I've been home, and she sent me these two albums. There's Matilda. It's called Live at Schooner Point in 2004. Episode 17, it was Bob McCullum. I went over to his house, and he's the first live guy we got. He played his tune Miramichi Life with his good buddy Walter. And then episode 18, some more Matilda as I was driving downtown out of one of these albums. Number 19, I was down at East Point one day, Raj, and another artist that's so important to me, the unbelievable, soulful Lucinda Williams, who I think would fit right in here in the Miramichi. I played a song called Can't Close the Door on Love, and it's from this album. Oh my God, she can slay one. If you never listened to Lucinda before, I highly recommend you get into her. She'll help you live. She knows, she's been through some stuff. Then, Raj, number 18, I played Your Brother and Yourself. Now, this is one that we did ourselves here in the Cummel family. That's Roger's brother Dennis on the drums. He played in some bands. And the song that I played as I was driving in Bushville area was This Magic Moment. Roger was on the guitar in the background. They're up in their bedroom as kids with a little recording machine. And I actually got a reel-to-reel machine going with the audio on that like 20-something years ago. When Roger and my father were at work, it was the first time they heard their brother's voice since he passed in '69 from a car accident. 21, I played a little bit of the Frank McKibben number. He didn't write it, but it's called Mother Miramichi as I was driving around, but I cut it off in a minute. Then in episode 22, I went to Sons of the River. This is Roger's uncle, who's the same age and neighbor, Clarence Cummel right there, Jordan Carson, Wally Jimmo on the accordion, amazing, beautiful musician, and Charlie Steinmetz on the vocals. They sang their song, Sons of the River. Then I went to 23, I sang Song for Pearlie by Colleen Furlong, followed right shortly after by Melanie Ross Breen singing Front Porch. And that came off the album that I stole from Roger. I've been stealing things from him, not even telling him about it. Off of Susan Butler's 60th folk song anniversary compilation album. And then it was episode 26, The Fisherman's Love by Joanne Lynch. Also off of this right here. And on the same episode, Raj, that's when we went up to speak with Theodore Williston. So I thought that would have been a great song to play on that episode. That's 26. Theodore Williston. We went up to his daughter's house and got him reciting poetry. Go check it out. Episode 27 was some more Matilda. I played Fiddleheads, One for Francis, Harvard Moon, Hornpipe as I was driving through Chatham off of these bad boys right here. And episode 27 was our first interview. Big Al at Creative Grounds, which reminds me, I have a Creative Grounds mug that I drink out of right here. And so Big Al talked about his life in the Special Olympics.
So that cup holds variety of drinks.
Variety of drinks. Today it is a green tea, Raj. Raj is drinking a coffee. I'm on a green tea. 28, I went back to Sons of the River. I was driving out in Weyerton, checking out the water. I wanted to do a canoe run, and I played Rambles of Spring. And then 29 was Barty Bogue, which was, I went over to Barty Bogue Church and played another one from Susan and Mary Butler off of this compilation album. Number 30 was The Troubadour by Jimmy Lawler, who also plays with Bob McCullum now. They play together. Also off of this album, I was driving in downtown, and that's Newcastle. Episode 31, they're tearing the old tavern down by Aubrey and Helen Stewart. I was driving around Chatham, showed where the old tavern was. The Ambassador, we called it, off of that album. 33 was, and then 32, I played the Frank McKibben, the same song, Mother Miramichi, because I cut it off earlier, and I wanted to listen to that again. I think that the chops on him are just fantastic. I love that tune. I've been singing it since I've been home. Then, episode 33, I played a song from Norman Leroux. Now, it's not like our cultural Miramichi music, but this guy was on the Miramichi for many years. He's a fantastic artist. The song I played from him was River's Journey as I drove along the Napan River. I didn't really show the river. It's probably not what he envisioned, but I did it for you, the late Norman Leroux. Episode 34 was Susan's All-Star Polka and Jim Morrison's Reel off of the compilation album. Then Roger and I went into Saltwater Sounds, the Miramichi Kitchen Party on Front Street, met with Paul McGraw of Connie and Paul, and he gave us a little tour. He was the first one. We went into a business and he spoke to us. He introduced the song that we played on that episode, which was called Maddie's Cove, in honor of Matilda Murdoch. That came off of the Melanie Ross and Friends album, From Our River. And then I went to 36. I went up and got the Nelson Doyle Dancers, 2 numbers, same song, one with the soft shoes, one with the hard shoes. Their leader, Ellen Doyle McDonald. Unbelievable what they did. And that's episode 36 if you want to check those gals out dancing. Episode 37, I played a song from Mike McKenzie and Mel Ross off of this. It was called What is the Miramichi? I was out in Barnaby River. Episode 38 was Melanie Ross and Friends again, and it was called The Closest Place to Heaven by Eric McKenzie. That was in Nelson along that beautiful water out by Beaubears Island. 39, I went out to Trout Brook and got Sidney Matchett tying a fly, and he was talking. He was so cool. I went out to see him when I was driving by again a few weeks later. He was great. Episode 40, I played Sarah as I was driving in the Shore Road off of the Melanie Ross and Friends, from the Gillis family, who are Barb, Lynn, and Jillian. Episode 41, we got into Roger's favorite Logieville Miramichi artist, Stephen Heckbert. It's called Walk to the World by Stephen Heckbert. I went down near where he lives, and I played a song called Murdoch Cove, and I really loved it as I drove around and showed some water. Then episode 42, I went over and got the Miramichi Fiddlers in their practice session. We played 6 numbers, 4 at the front, 2 at the back. We got the Miramichi Fiddlers, and then I had an interview with Mary Jane in her home, who's the daughter of Matilda Murdoch, the great Miramichi fiddler, Logieville's greatest artist. Then on episode 43, I went up to Retirement Miramichi Raj, former CFB Chatham, and I played, the Senior Tour by Royce Obie off of the Susan Butler album again. And then I went Banks of the Miramichi on episode 44. Melanie Ross sang Banks of the Miramichi a cappella. That graveyard in Black River, St. Stephen's, I think it's called, United. Yeah. Beautiful little island-style graveyard. That was special. And then episode 44, that was like, that was a lot of people's favorites. That's when Raj dusted off his tap shoes. It was kind of like this special moment for us all. Norm Young, the Fiddlin' Barbler Hall of Fame and the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame, and his cousin Tyrone Hubbard was on guitar. Tyrone's primary instrument is a piano. Apparently he's so good. They played 6 songs, 4 of which Roger did a number 2 as he played the spoons, which they haven't seen before. Roger has never practiced with them. It was all organic in the moment, and Roger hadn't danced in like 40 years. It was a great moment at Roger's daughter's house. And then 46, episode 46, I went up to Ian Craig and his wife Margaret's home in Quarryville near They sang a song live, but it's on this album. It was called "A Fish in the River." This guy here's a master luthier, master, no joke. His guitars are unbelievable. He is not doing it anymore. That was a special moment for me because they choked me up where I'm at in my life right now. They really slayed me. And then 47. I went in and got a interview with Susan Butler, the great Susan Butler, Order of Canada, Order of New Brunswick, and then we played her song called Proud to be Canadian off of this again, and she had a 75-voice children's choir backing her up on that from a music teacher at St. Andrews Elementary in Chatham at the time named Ellen Cummo. And then 48, I went in to talk to Sean O'Reilly at the Miramichi History Museum. His display was so good. I'm sorry, Sean, I didn't get you interviewed there, but I tell you what, if there's a season 2, I'm going to have a long-form interview about what you're doing and what it's all about. You were so good, and it's a very impressive place. And then 49, the last one that we have showed was Mr. Bob McCullum. And I went up to Bob McCullum's house again, short little interview with him, and he played another song called 40 Shades of Green, an Irish style of a tune written by none other than Johnny Cash, which also the Sons of the River have on this album.
Charlie Steinmetz.
And Charlie Steinmetz sings it. So, Raj, that is what we did for music, and that's what we did. That's a roundup. I've also referenced David Adams Richards a lot, notes on a writer's life. This is his most recent. It's nonfiction. It's a memoir. It just nailed me. This is so well done. It shows the depth of this man's thinking. And I've often used a quote that he used about describing a Miramichi. It doesn't come from this book, but he says Miramichiers are proud, conscious of others, fearless in the realms of physical danger, full of humor, and yet somewhat shy. Really excellent. And then one of the inspirations for this project is a good friend of mine in Vancouver. This is the beautiful and uber intelligent and accomplished Keiko Honda. This is her book. It's called Accidental Blooms. She taught me the importance in my Vancouver life of intergenerational projects, which this is. We have looked into our community. It's been a community building project. And in one of her text messages to me, she's the one saying, Jamie, it's great what you're doing with your Uncle Raj and keep doing it. But I want to, and she put in quotations, see the Miramichi. That is what got me out thinking how to combine that. So thank you, Keika. You're a special friend of mine. I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks when I head back to Vancouver. And holy old crap, Raj, I tried to get through that as fast as possible.
Why?
It's been amazing.
Well, the reason why you got through it is I never interrupted.
That's the first time a Cummo has not interrupted another Cummo when they're sitting in close proximity since, in a very long time. So Raj, we're going to sign off at the end here, but we know how, what we did here, and we know how great it was. I was talking to an entrepreneur actually up at Ellen Street, the floral shop up there. It's a beautiful space on the square. And one of the things that she told me one of the things I was talking to her about was consistency. And, she's an entrepreneur that's able to get her vision realized. I told her that when I do a project, I'm always best when I have a partner. That can take so Roger, this is Roger's collection, his space. He was ready for me. You were into it, Raj, and you just never ever wavered on that. And we did it. It's 50. We did 50 of these. Terry Whalen yesterday was like, "You did 50 episodes since you've been home." And I was like, well, all I did was show up and read them blind. I didn't have to, I was out getting some video, but that was my rediscovery of the Miramichi, my hometown, and it's been such a powerful experience for me, actually. This project has been so excellent.
Yeah, it's been good for me.
Yes.
Because I had stuff buried there for years, and it was nice to get back into what I had.
Yeah. And you have the documentation buried for years, but all of us humans have other things buried for years too, emotionally and stuff. So we were able to present something. We were able to feel good. This just felt good.
To think I have stuff there with people that were only 5 years old.
Yeah.
And today, they're like in their 40s or whatever, or 30s or 30s. So.
Like, you know, Roger, still, the people have told me since I've been home about Uncle Raj, he's still delivering. He goes up to people's homes with packages of things he would think they would find interesting, and lets them look through it. And he does it with older people that might not be mobile, and they go back and reminisce. It's very special what you do. Terry Whalen was like, he goes, what, he gave you credit last night off camera. He's like, and he's documenting, he's saved. And he's like, that is very important for our, it's very important for any community in any hometown to remember where you came from. And it's a very important thing. As we seemingly are going too fast, we're missing these connections, intergenerational. You know, it's very important to do that, and we did it.
Yeah.
We did it. Now, I know I've done a lot of talking, but my friend, this is our last episode, and my friend, he sent me 2 more poems, and just out of respect, I think we got to read them out. And I'm going to do that, and this is from a grade 6 elementary class. My friend's a teacher, and we've already read, I think, 5 poems, and here's number 6. It's called...
Should we have some soft music?
you can well, this one here is called Silence.
Oh my gosh, no music.
And this is our friend, this is from, the other 5 poems have come from some little girls in the grade 6 class, and this is from our first guy. Rowan Dignam wrote this. It's called Silence. Cold, empty, quiet. In my dark room, all I can hear are my own thoughts creeping through my head. I sit alone, still, while my mind is active, thinking about everything that could happen if I get up. A soft music calmly enters my room as I let go of all the stress I had a moment ago. The song gently ends, and all my worries with it. Just because you think that something might happen doesn't mean it will. Holy frig, man. That's a grade 6 student writing that. That is really, really deep. We all experience that, Rowan. That's really well done and really well thought out. We all have those same thoughts. This could be taken literally or metaphorically. And I really appreciate that because it's true. And then as I read that last night, or wrote it down last night, I wrote a little note at the end, Rowan, and it was from one of my favorite artists, singer, songwriter, Tom Petty, the late Tom Petty. One of the lyrics that he has in his songs is like, most things I worry about never happen anyway. Ooh. And so I thought I coupled that in. We do have a tendency as humans to worry about things that don't happen. And so that's really good. Thank you, Rowan. And we got one more. We're going to end our little poetry feature here from a young girl in grade 6 named Sophie Hudson. It's called As Time Goes On. It says, will the earth still spin? As time goes on, will we still face those troubles we're in? As time goes on, will it be difficult? And if so, how different will it be? Will the grass always stay green? As time goes on, will the right choice remain seen? Will it all still be the same as time goes on? From Sophie Hudson, excuse me, that's another profound, deep thinking from our grade 6.
What grade is she in?
Grade 6.
Okay.
It's really good. Will the grass always stay green? No, we don't want the grass to stay green. A human has to go up and down, Sophie. It will not. Things will always never remain the same. Of course not. As you get older, you're going to see that. In 10 years, the thoughts that are going through your head are going to be very different than they are now. And that happens right up until old age. Even when you're 70, it's so different than when you're 60. And when you're 50, it's so different than when you're 40. So you got to keep growing. That's what I was talking to about Terry Whalen last night. You got to keep growing. You got to keep doing. You got to keep learning new things. And it's very important to do that. So I appreciate those poems. Thank you to my great friend, the teacher at Dr. Loge, and sharing those poems. Roger just had to go up and let the dog back in. So that's a long intro, and thank you guys for hanging out with us. We're going to go through a few more articles. We're going to wrap up this phase of our project, and I'll press pause right now just to wait for Raj to come on down. We'll get started. Okay, Raj is back. Winnie's up there scattering around. Winnie is a rescue dog. Where did Amanda get Winnie? Amanda, the sponsor of the show's daughter.
They come up from Texas.
Oh, yeah?
We had to go to Woodstock together.
Oh, yeah. So Winnie's a beautiful dog, but she does need a lot of attention. And when she's out there, she's very... I love Winnie. Like, she's been one of the most... this project would not have been the same without little Winnie there.
There's people ask me what kind of a breed she is. I really don't know. All I know is she does a lot of pacing, and she has a normal dog bark, but she also has a screech.
Yeah.
So her breed is a screeching pacer.
A screeching pacer. Well, I'll tell you what, one of my best friends in Vancouver, he has a dog that's like part Berman, whatever, you know, all these Labrador or all these poodle combinations. And they're like, well, if people ask him what's his dog name, he goes, it's a Labadabadooda or something like I forget the name he gave it, but it's funny. And then they're just like, oh yeah. And he's like, he just made it up, a Labadabadoo or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got one more sponsor shot. Maybe our bonus episodes will do a sponsor. And this is from Roger's daughter, Amanda, okay? Now, Amanda and Corey Wishart at Wishworks at the Core Store, we've shown their work. And Edie Sabo, we showed her painting one episode. But we're going to get back to Edie a little bit later. Oh, there's the phone. Let's pause her right now. Actually, Roger can go in the other room and talk. I'll just do the sponsor shot here. He knows how to get rid of people anyhow. Okay. So Amanda was a fine arts student at Mount Allison, and one of the, we've shown several of her works, very talented artist. Here is another one, and it's called a wood block print. Now, I can't explain what that is, but that is Amanda's drawing, and that's of her older brother, the oldest child, that we haven't really spoken about much in this project, and that's my bad. And this is Scotty Cummo. He worked in the woods. He's now a plumbing foreman out on some big Calgary projects. Very capable with his hands. He's a very creative guy too. He does a lot of woodworking. So that's one of Amanda's. She drew Scott, did it on this wood block print. It's really, really beautiful and well done. That's one that we're going to show today. And the other one is another lithograph. Okay, a lithograph is Amanda does the drawing. You put it on a lithograph stone. I don't know what kind it is, and it's kind of a printing system or whatever, and it goes down. But this is Amanda's artwork on that lithograph, and she did a series when she was in Mount Allison. She did a series in Mount Allison that was a lot of clothing, and it was one of her shows. And I really love this piece right here. There's several of these clothing. This is Amanda's drawing of, and this is to scale. This is 1-to-1. That is her late mother, Margie Rogers' late wife, Margie's shorts, jean shorts from 1975. That's before I was born. She was a size 8. Amanda said it was young and slim. Those are of course some Levi's. Margie was so beautiful. And, you know, do a pair of Levi's cutoff shorts ever go old or grow old? The answer to that is a very simple no. They look so gorgeous on a 1970s woman and a 2024. Whoever can rock those. Those are some of Amanda's works. And what I will say is that if you are out there and you want a special personal gift that you want to give to somebody in your life, why not contact an artist such as Amanda? Over the episodes, we've shown several of her drawing. She's very talented with a pencil. And Raj, can you pull up one more that we didn't show here?
That one there?
No, we showed those ones. We showed the Friends.
I think we showed all these.
Yeah, we showed all those. So why not just show another... one more. She's so talented. Okay, this is kind of a when she was little. This is just like a thing that she drew for a wedding anniversary, and I bet you this is even before she got to her fine arts degree. And she just did a nice some renderings of Roger and Margie on their 21st anniversary. So she was probably in high school or even middle school at this time. That's and that's an older one. That's really, really beautiful. And we showed these ones. That's another one of Amanda's drawings with her and her friend. And if you saw who these people were in real life, that is so close. So why not get in touch with an artist such as Amanda here on the river? She works as a nurse at the hospital, but she can work with you so well, take your direction, and create this very personal gift. And she's already got a commission out of this show. And if you're wondering how a young woman like Amanda Como can sponsor such a high-rolling show like this, well, she just does it by being the best daughter a man could ever have. And if you're looking to get in touch with Amanda, it's very simple. You just go to the phone book and look up Roger's name, and then he'll do the secretarial work. He'll get in touch with her. So there it is, Amanda. Thank you for sponsoring the show, for sharing your home when Roger did his dancing. And, you know, this project's been good for me because it's been enabled me to get closer to Amanda. Okay, so are we going to get into some, and, you know, I'm not going to go into this. Roger and I decided to come down here today to finish off our project. We're trying to escape we're trying to escape some absolutely terrible and tragic news in our extended family, in our community, in our neighborhood, and we're going to leave it at that, and we're just going to finish this off, and we're doing it with heavy hearts, and you know, words cannot express it. It's not the space to get into those things right now, but we keep that in mind, trust me. Okay, Raj, what are we going to start with today?
You want to continue where we started last night? Was there some Miramichi thing? Or?
Yeah, you know what? I was gonna do that, and I didn't read it.
Okay.
So yeah, like it's confusingly written. So it says, this article just says, "Just where is the Miramichi?" And this was written by Parker Manderson in 1986, and he was just talking about, like, what is it? Is it the river system? Where does it go in? You know what? This river system, the Miramichi, it is extensive, and it goes into all these pockets. And there's so much nature here, and I have been appreciating that more on my trip home from Vancouver this time around than at any other point in my life, without a doubt. And it is a beautiful area if you get yourself out into nature. This is what we have here. We have a beautiful, beautiful community that is surrounded by nature. Eh, Raj?
Okay, I like us to feature this full page of Beta Vin.
Yeah.
Because of the site of New Brunswick's first rural high school.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Here. And a little bit of stories on each page.
Oh, right on.
This guy here.
That's a really cool. This is from...
There's an old sheet there, bad shape.
This is from June 21st, 1980. And they're showing the site of New Brunswick's first rural high school. Excuse me. The late Reverend Douglas Smith, Rural High School Pine. I'm going to have to pause, and I got to get this out of my throat. I don't want to be coughing on camera. Okay, we're back. The site of New Brunswick's first rural high school. It says the late Reverend Douglas Smith, Rural High School pioneer, whose memory will be honored in Beta Vin next Saturday on June 28th. So that is showing this guy right here. He was a high school teacher. What's going on in this photo right here? This was a full page, and just to let you know, the song that Terry Whalen, the student that he worked with, Lily Savoy, she goes to Miramichi Rural.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so this is Keith Carroll of grade 9. He points to his school, the province's first rural high school. This is 1980. Is that in the same location where they built a new one, maybe? Or I don't know. Maybe. We don't know. We don't claim to be experts. We're just reading these blindly with y'all. And Betty and Douglas Williston of the Beta Vin Willistons stand in front of their store. He returned after spending 23 years as a CN policeman in Toronto. So that is really cool. There's a school reunion going on in 1980 in Beta Vin, the site of New Brunswick's first rural high school. Really cool. And fishing boats at the Beta Vin Wharf right there. And that is a really excellent way to start us off. Roger Acamo.
Yeah, this here is just indicating where I had the month of June clippings.
Yep.
So just a folder, It was an interesting photo on the back.
Oh yeah. Oh, nice. Hey, this is what was in the paper in 1980. Come on over, it says. Okay, so I'm gonna show the photo and we're gonna read it out. This was actually like, and I know the way society has gone, people are not able to take, like, let's just chill out. This is what was in the paper, and this happened. So we got the classic construction workers checking out a fine Miramichi dame, I think it's Miramichi, walking down the street. What does the caption actually say? I'm reading this blindly. It says, someone looked at it and said, it'll soon be that time of year again. And indeed, girl watchers are the same all over, whether in Edmonton or along the Miramichi. Okay, this was in Edmonton. These ones are in Edmonton and were caught by the lens of photographer Bill Brennan, son of Mr. and Mrs. Hazen Brennan of Chatham. At the time this photo was taken, Bill was Western representative with UPI Canada. He is currently photo editor of the Edmonton Sun. Oh yes, the young woman is 25-year-old Tina Haffey. And I'll tell you what, this article right here will get you canceled in the year 2025. That's how sensitive our society has become. But it was in the paper and we just showed it. That is the changing of the times.
I'm gonna put the clippings back inside of that.
Okay. And okay, May 14th, 1960, we got a sad something to report. 20-year-old killed. Celebration ends in tragedy. Richard Hallahan. Roger had this article cut out and put on a piece of blue construction paper. There is another sad story of, I'm assuming this was what started as a day of celebration in the village of Logieville, ended in tragedy for 20-year-old Richard Ricky Hallahan. The Logieville youth had just left the wedding reception of a close friend and was passing through Chatham when the car he was driving skidded out of control on Water Street and struck a utility pole. He was pronounced dead on arrival at Hotel du Hospital, Chatham. And, oh wow, just another, I don't know, this town, this small town that we live in here, Miramichi, it does have its fair share of tragedies over the years. And, like, again, we're doing this episode with heavy hearts due to another car accident tragedy that's, it's just, there's no words, it's just sickening to even think about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
This one goes in there.
no, just dump her down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we got some softball stuff going on here now.
Okay. Yeah, these early 80s have been heavily, lots of softball stuff. Roger was playing ball at the time. And thanks to Brian Richard for sharing on Facebook. Like, that's another thing. Like, I don't do Facebook, so I know I'm missing out on some on certain things. Get Roger in the camera here better. Sorry, Raj. I've been missing out on, I know I've been missing out on certain things that Facebook does provide, but I decided not to do it right from the start. But Brian Richard has a great project happening. He's showing all these photos in his archives. My sister shares them with me, and I forget who else I was told, but is also doing some more projects. I think it's Sean O'Reilly was telling me there's some more YouTube and Facebook projects. I hope I get to meet up with some of those people at some point, and we can compare notes. We're just trying to do we're just sharing some stuff, showing how great our this community of the Miramichi really is. Okay, Salisbury wins for, okay, so the Merchants second in tourney. What was going on here? Chatham Merchants. Salisbury defeated them to win the first annual Chatham Moosehead Invitational Softball Tournament. This is from 1980. These are the runners-up from Chatham. Who was on that team in 1980? Some softball Chatham stuff going on. I hope I get to read some names that I recognize. And they were David Flieger, Donnie Stewart, Billy Hay, Mike Power, Gary Stewart, Daryl Stewart, Derek Ramsey, Sandy McGregor, Jim Convoy, is that Conroy or Convoy? Convoy, Gary Smith, and Frankie Carroll, Bob Dangladish, and Barry Hay. So right on, that's a great photo. I do recognize some names. Frankie Carroll. There's Billy Hay right there. I think he worked for the government garage. He was a referee in hockey. And I think he was on the first, during that raft race that we read all these months ago, he was on the first winning team of the Miramichi raft race in 1984 or 5 or something. Okay, here's another one. Logieville takes softball crown, 1980. The Dixie Lees defeated the Nelson Juniors 5-1 to win the Miramichi Valley softball crown. Jimmy Kelly pitched a 2-hitter in the final game. And right on. So Roger Como had a double and a single, while Larry McDonald and Peter LaBelle each had a triple. So cool. And we can continue with those names.
Okay, so now we're going to focus on the Glen Elders
Okay.
and one of their star players.
Okay, what's this? Okay. Okay, the Glen Elgers take second straight. The Glen Elgers won the Old Home Week softball tournament in Chatham for the second year in a row. They are, from left to right, Bobby Bennett, Billy Flieger, Jimmy Jenkins, Ken Moran, and Blair LeBreton, Spidey. He's one of Roger's kind of distant neighbors here. And we had Billy Kennedy, George McGrath, Tony McDonald, Brud Carroll, Jimmy Conroy. So I think that was a misspelling. It's Conroy on the other article. Peter Boyle and Brian Savoy, Morocco. He did some pitching. And the two tiny little people in front are Matthew Jenkins and Evan LeBreton. So there's a great, one of Miramichi's greatest Ironmen. There's Matt Jenkins as a kid, the bat boy in that team. He went on to be one of a great shortstop and pitcher. And the name that I did not read when I first began this was none other than, see, Roger loves covered bridges. He loves the tall ships, agricultural shows. We've done a lot of stories on fires for some reason. And Stephen Heckbert keeps popping up in these Miramichi. I got to meet this Stephen Heckbert. He's going to be home for the summer soon. We played one of his songs. When I was talking to Terry Whalen last night, Raj, Terry Whalen said that Stephen Heckbert is an extremely intelligent and deep-thinking human being, artist, everything. It's great to know that. And here he is right here, laying no helmets right there. It was 1980. We're going to play a softball game, no helmets. Look at the form. He's laying down a bunt. Bad form on a bunt, I must say, Mr. Heckbert. You're holding that thing like you'd hold a guitar. The Chatham Old Home Week softball tournament came to an end on Sunday with the Glen Elgers emerging as the top team. Heckbert beat out this bunt for a key base hit on the way to the win. But if the results are there, technique shouldn't matter, I guess. Okay, what do we got here? Most Valuable Player, Counselor Bob Carroll presents the MV... Oh, Brud. It says Bob, but it's Brud Carroll.
I forgot to cross it out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I see that. Brud Carroll presents the MVP trophy to Bobby Bennett of the winning Glen Elgers softball team. There's Bobby Bennett with a beard. If I would have saw that picture, or if I would have looked at this without reading it, I would not have known who that guy was. But when I was a kid, when I started playing with these guys were on the end of their career. They put a town league team in years after their retirement. I was a high schooler and I was able to play, do some pitching. They trained me and, brought me into the men's game as a teenager, and I was nervous and stuff. But this guy was still pitching, Bobby Bennett. And his daughter is married to one of Roger's neighbors, Michael Rishore. Logieville, a juvenile B-boys capture New Brunswick, a softball title. Wow. The winning Logieville team. I can't wait to read some names off of this. There it is. This is 1980. Lots of softball today. That's fine. We're softballers. There's no better way to do our final episode with something that we personally love so much. It's been an unbelievable part of our lives. The Logieville Junior B-Boys softball team won the New Brunswick title Sunday afternoon. Right on. In Logieville, going undefeated. They played, okay. So, who was on this team? We have Larry McDonald, great athlete. Robert LaBelle, Mark Williston, David Robishaw. He was such a great ball player. Jimmy Kelly, pitching. Timmy Boyd also was a pitcher. Mike Mott. Kevin McCormick was on that team. Forrest Murdoch was on that team. And Larry Boom Boom Rishore was on. He also did some pitching. Bob Kelly was missing. There's Kevin McCormick. And when those Logieville teams, when the team I played on as a kid, I was just saying the town league, Kevin was the instrumental in getting that together. Him and my dad did the organizing. Roger was pitching. Perry Como was pitching out in
Backside, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Perry Como was pitching out. He's in Nappin now. And then I was the third stringer kind of a guy. Gareth McDougall was here and there. Larry, Boom Boom Rashore pitching. They taught me. It was a great experience. But Kevin, there would be games where the team would have to travel to the Renew's maximum security prison, and Kevin would get everybody in his, we call it the Wally wagon, his like Winnebago, and go up and play ball. And it was really, really interesting times. And you know what? I think this is the first episode, Raj, that we've had the 2 phone call. Is it 3 today? That's great. Okay, the Ironmen are still tops. This is from August 13th. Oh, that's how quickly Roger got rid of that person. That would have been, okay, so this is from the Miramichi Leader, August 13th. This is the Ironmen are still tops. That's okay, like if the phone rings, we can pause it. It's all good. Okay, so this is from Brian Richard, and this is when like the newspaper was just at the, like look at that, like, you know, Bill Hogan would have had that drawing done of Brian. Brian did such a great job over the years as we... Yeah, I'm going to read
saying something over the
top 10 team. Yeah. So Brian did such a great job of covering the sports and other things on the Miramichi. His archives, he's sharing it as we, and then just for me personally, I never ever met Brian, but to go through this project and to see how much work he has done has been so great. Okay, about 4 weeks ago, I rated the top 4 baseball teams on the river: Chatham Ironmen, Chatham Head Tigers, Nappin Braves, and the Chatham Junior Ironmen. I received a bit of flack, but not enough to worry about. I love a person that can take some criticism. And since then, a lot have changed. Some things have gotten better. So here's his new top 10 from August 13th, 1980. Number 1, the Chatham Senior Ironmen. Number 2, the Logieville Dixie Lees. Number 3, Chatham Head Tigers. Number 4, Chatham Junior Ironman. Number 5, the Nappin Braves. Number 6, the Nelson Operas. Number 7, the Nelson High-Low Schooners. Number 8, the Red Bank Warriors. Number 9, the Silikers Chase Siding. And number 10, the Nelson Juniors. And he says, I believe Logieville would give the senior Ironmen a run for their money. Now the 2 paid professional imports, Ray Royce and Brian Cox, don't count, as they are here only for the summer months. So he's saying that talent-wise, the Logieville crowd had an excellent group of athletes that, even though they were playing some different sports, would have been, of course it would be. It's athletes playing against athletes. And you know what? My league in Vancouver, Raj, we go recruiting young baseball players that went through the baseball system in Vancouver, and through friends of friends of friends, we get these young guys out and they switch over to softball in their 20s. Yeah. They love it. Like they really love it. It's such a great sport.
It's pretty blurry, but you gotta focus on Bam Bam's hands.
Oh, yeah, okay. I know about Bam Bam. Okay, so Bam Bam awaits for a pitch. This is a guy, his name is Kevin Sobey. When I was a kid in the 90s watching the Nelson team win the last senior championship in New Brunswick, this guy was kind of coaching. And if you see this picture, if you look at it closely, it's kind of blurry, as Raj says. His hands. This guy used to bat with his hands crossed backwards. So most of us hit like this. He was hitting like this.
All backhanded.
All backhanded. So that is a very interesting thing. And that looks like it's in Nelson. Okay.
There's a big headlines here, but you just got to read that there.
Okay. And it's great. That's okay. We're going to pause it right now. Okay, we are back, and Roger shares with me a great photo of my, the reason that brought me home on the Miramichi was the passing of my father. It has been a profound experience. I didn't realize my what was going to be transpiring here over the months, but there's a photo of my father in 1980. He was yet to turn 30. He's 29 in that picture. And Brian Richard, again, took the photo down in Logieville, and on this swing, Dad hit a home run. And if you look at third base, the runner is none other than Larry McDonald. A couple of other things of note. Look at the crowd of people. They're playing St. John. This is the building that's still there. Billy Walsh owns it now. The catcher has no chest protector and or knee pads on. His hand is sitting right there for a foul ball to break his thumb. my father is not, as the hitter, is not wearing a helmet. So this is different times. And it was fast pitch softball. The ball's coming in pretty good. So there's lots of, it was just a different world. And Dad on that hit a home run. So right on, Raj. And you know what? Thanks to Brian Richard for all those great photos. Like, that is excellent photography that he was sharing in the newspapers, I must say.
So Dave Butler called this Dixieland Jazz. You might read it.
Okay. So, you know, the Logieville Dixie Lees are for real. This is like 1980, like, you know, our community here in Logieville. Miramichi had a great softball team. They competed. They lost the final, New Brunswick Senior, to Fredericton that year. And Dave Butler, another sports writer on the river, high school teacher, he called it the Dixieland Jazz on the Miramichi.
Just show these guys.
Yep.
Here.
We showed these guys a couple of days ago. We'll show them again. The Dixies and the Alpines resume set tonight. These are two of the young athletes in 1980. They were very young at the time. Larry McDonald and Jamie Watling, kind of like teenager, late teens, early 20 maybe, but late teens. Both played hockey together. Their sporting careers intertwined hockey and softball, and they were top athletes. Logieville against the wall, and this is also talking about the Fredericton, and they did not have what it took to get past Fredericton. The Diplomats beat them, and then this is the Fredericton Alpine, or St. John?
Yeah.
St. John Alpines beat Logieville, and to win the New Brunswick Senior A Championships in 11 years to win their... Oh, in 1980, St. John won, not Fredericton. Sorry about that. So that was the St. John Alpines taking down Logieville. And you know what St. John and Fredericton and those teams had? They had a little bit of a bigger market, of course. We're talking about Logieville, and Logieville's team mostly came from Logieville. But there was no money to bring in a pitcher from Ontario or something like that. And those other teams had those resources. And who's this? Miramichi Valley Senior McCullum. This is baseball. It was Player of the Week. Shortstop Ricky McCullum of the Nelson Juniors was Player of the Week in the 11th week of play in the Miramichi Senior Softball League. So right on, Player of the Week, Ricky McCullum. Really good. And last night when I was talking to Terry Whalen, his father was president of the Miramichi Valley Baseball League for many years.
Okay.
Roger just folded that bad boy over. There's a great shot of Centennial Bridge right there. Look at that. That's beautiful photography. It looks like the moon coming in, some moonlight. That's really beautiful. And it says, if the dominant feed, I'm not even going to read the, yeah, you know what? Actually, I am going to read the caption. Now, is this exaggerated? Well, one would have to say yes. We really would. Okay, we're gonna just.
That's why I wanted to give.
And that's why he said no. But this is a beautiful photo. Like, let's look at the photo. It really is a beautiful photo. It's nighttime, but you know, a little exaggerated here, guys. Like, come on now. This is what it says. If there were a list of 7 wonders of the Miramichi. Oh, sorry, it's not the world, it's the Miramichi. Oh, 7, okay, that's okay. 7 wonders of the Miramichi, Chatham's Centennial Bridge would be one of the 7. Okay, I'll give you that. I'm not going to go, I thought it was like wonders of the world. Okay, great photo, I take it back. See how the humbleness in us, we can take our mistakes back. Not like those combos out napping. Okay, High-Lows advanced to final, and there is some more softball, the Nelson High-Low Skunner, and there's Cecil Miller. You know what? Cecil Miller's a great Miramichier. He has high respect in our family. I know that my mother speaks highly of this guy, and Roger does as well, and my father always did. He's just a great guy, eh, Raj?
I might as well mention him.
Oh, sure. August 12th, 1980. Anybody that knows baseball knows who this guy is. Old Reggie Jackson. Not your world's greatest outfielder and teammate, but man, could he clutch it up in October. And this is his 400th career home run in 1980. He was, love him or hate him, he was one heck of but he does hold the record for all-time strikeouts as well as his 500 and whatever home runs.
A little clipping there.
Okay, here we are. There are 2 reasons why Jim Malone is no longer playing hockey for the Toronto Marlboros in the Major Junior. His team was eliminated, but it talks a little bit about he's home. He wanted to graduate with his classmates. So here he is. Jimmy Malone was playing some junior hockey. He was drafted first round NHL. He's a great guy. Comes from hockey pedigree. His son just retired after a long professional career, Brad Malone. And Jimmy, again, my coach in Atom Hockey, was so great. And there he is, folks, Malone Inks pack. So that is when Jimmy got drafted. There he is right there, handsome Jimmy Malone. What a great guy. And I'll tell you what, if you're wondering what it took to be a fine athlete in 1980, well, Jimmy Malone did it by drinking Pepsi.
There's a big page here on young Leggett.
Okay, Leggett improves greatly playing with the pros, so the Pirates wish they had more like him. Back home, Chatham's Rick Leggett is now back home after his second year of professional baseball. Leggett posted a 6-7 record with Macon Peaches of the Class A South Atlantic League and is looking forward to possibly moving up in the Pittsburgh Pirates chain next season. Long, big article with small print back in 1980 to cover this. Dave Butler wrote this article, but there's a great shot of former pro ball player Chathamer, Mr. Richard Leggett, who did come back at one point to play with the hometown Chatham Ironmen, who will be getting ready for their season very shortly, I'm assuming.
Very full page here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, this is from December 17th. We're winding her down. 1980. 4 thoughts preserved historic Miramichi manse. And this is the generous manse donation. That is the, I think that's the, that's the Beaverbrook House and the historic courthouse. And okay, so there are some stories of just some, that's the Beaverbrook House, the old manse. There used to be a library. And that's Edith McAllister. I think she was the librarian. That we covered her retiring, and then the young, I forget who the name that took over for her was. And then we haven't mentioned this name in a long time, and that is the Hiram Baisley.
Father Mercereau.
Yeah, Father Mercereau and they're talking antiques, they're talking space, they're talking a museum, they're talking Miramichi Heritage Trust. And I'll tell you what, Hiram Baisley, we've mentioned him several times. He built a truck out of wood. He built the cupola on top of the Seamen's Hospital. He has some of his stuff out at the Napan Fair, the property that's adjacent to that. And I'll tell you what, if times were different and I was of age, I definitely would have been interested in meeting that guy. He's a great Miramichier, very interesting and highly capable.
So this is Northumberland News.
Yeah.
And that's Lawrence Kingston there when they lost their house by fire.
Oh my God.
They lost everything.
Okay, so this is a Logieville story again, and this is from August 26, 1981. I remember this. Logieville explosion. Fire leaves family homeless. I was just a little kid. It says Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence Kingston. Well, I mean, why can't they say the name of, you know what I mean, Raj? I know traditions are good and stuff, but it's Mary Jane, formerly a Murdoch, daughter of Logieville's greatest artists, and Lawrence Kingston, her husband, and it should be Mrs. and Mr. Mary Jane Murdoch. I'm just joking. Lawrence Kingston and their 2 children were left homeless following a fire early Saturday morning in Logieville. An explosion leveled the 2-story apartment building that they were living in. That's out by where Kevin McCormick lived, right? And fortunately, the Kingstons were unable to get a babysitter Friday evening and had taken their 2 children, oh wow, Dawn Marie and Christopher 7, to their grandparents for the night. Mr. Kingston said no one would have been able to survive the explosion and fire. Wow, I did not know that. That's fate right there, folks. And this is the photo right here of Lawrence. You can see him in the background right there looking over. How devastating is that? Fire is just Roger is ending, or not, almost ending on one of the things that he has covered, which are fires. House ruins. There's a little left of the Logieville home of Lawrence and Mary Jane Kingston following a weekend explosion and fire. No one was at home at the time. And all people say, if there's a fire, what do you go for, right? People say photo albums. These are the things that matter. Your family relics, something that you cannot retrieve. Fire is so it's so final. It's brutal.
I photocopied that and gave them a copy.
Okay.
Years ago.
Roger sent them a copy some years ago, and I just mentioned Tom Petty earlier. Raj, Tom Petty lost his house to a fire back in the '80s in L.A.
Okay.
It was arson.
We got some young pups here.
Oh wow!
I know it's a 1982
Yep.
thing there.
So we're doing 82. We're doing 80 today. This is 82. We're coming to an end here. The New Brunswick softball champs. This is a great photo. I love. My nephews are coaching little kids out in Maine, and they won a state championship and stuff. And look at how cute this is. Little kids playing some softball. The coach back there is none other than Alan Doak, the late Alan Doak. He passed way too early due to I don't know what his cancer was. And I have learned since coming home, Raj, that if I would have met Alan at this time of my life, we would have been able to get along very well as we read the same books and we're both big Bob Dylan fans and all that stuff. Okay, so who's on this team? Logieville Mites Bombers captured the New Brunswick softball championships last week, defeating Nelson in the finals. Do you want to hear the score of the first one? 17-2. And 22-11. Who was on this team? Danny McCullum, Billy McCormick, Jeff Stymus, known as Zim, Craig McCormick, Roger's neighbor, Chris McDougall, we call him Yaki, Alan Doak coached it, Leslie McDonald, I remember him, Ricky Stymus, Randy McGrath, Aaron Richor, my father nicknamed him Tonka. He was a tough kid, catcher, goalie kind of kid. And Dwayne Savoy. Great photo. And the two kids, everybody is a certain age there except for Zim and Craig. They were a few years younger, but they were great athletes and were able to play with the big boys. And what a great photo. Alan Doak taking some kids in 1982 and winning a little softball championship, Raj.
Okay, this is another provincial championship here.
This is a photocopy. Oh my God. This is a great photo, and here we are, folks. This is from, and although we did 1980 today, this is from 92. I was in grade 10. And that was, oh wow, and I played a couple more years later. So we put a team in. It was an intermediate D or something like that. I'm not even gonna, it was intermediate E. But, it was like kind of like a D thing. We had some jerseys. We were the Premium Dry Logieville Mooseheads. This is me as a kid. I was right here. And there's a squad that we played on right there. I can name these out. I'm going to go this way. So that's me. I was the youngest on that squad. Kenny Black here, who helped set up the meeting with Terry Whalen last night. Terry's married to Kenny's sister Donna, and they were a great family. There's the late Frankie Robishaw, folks. Oh, so sad. And there's Percy Cummo, who was on Rogers' stoop the other day. They're talking graveyard maintenance. And there's the late Leon, Rogers' brother, my father's brother. He passed too early as well. There's the late Blake Cameron. He played mostly right field on that team, or left field. There's the late Ronnie Cummo, my father. He passed away in February. That brings me home. There's Kevin McCormick, who kind of organized the team. And there's Perry Cummo right here. Very talented athlete and golfer, and everything he does, Perry's so good at it. And there's the local historian, Mr. Roger Cummo, who Perry and Roger did the pitching in the big games, of course. They swapped roles. They taught me, and I picked up some innings here and there. It was a great memory for me, Raj. It says the Logieville champs. The Logieville Moosehead Dries blanked the St. John Royals 5-0 here Sunday to win softball New Brunswick's men's intermediate E championships in a 3-day, 6-team tournament hosted by the eventual winners. The Moosehead Dries' Perry Cummo was the tournament's most valuable player, while his teammate Garth McDougall, the late Garth McDougall, was a great Logieville guy too, was the event's top pitcher. And Garth wasn't in this picture, but Garth was a great. The Chatham Merchants took third-place honors, and so that was a great time, Raj. That was really, really fun. And so that's what Roger ends on. And, in typical Roger Cummo fashion, he was in bed last night. thinking about what are we going to end this on. And that was a ball team that we played on together, which the older I get, the more special I realize it is, you know?
Well, we won provincial championships with our sons.
Yes, yes.
So we won another one there with you and Josh
And Scotty.
Scotty.
In a years later, who I showed Scotty when you were upstairs. We haven't spoken about Scotty much. Scotty, you know, Roger's oldest boy, very interesting guy actually. Always was able to do his own thing. He had many interests. He's very capable with his hands, but he also played some ball, and you know, there was no Scotty could just do it out of just he could play outfield for you, play a little first base for you. If you needed a catcher, he had a bad knee later. He could catch. He was a left-handed hitter. He got the bat on. He could crush some balls. He always went kind of left center with it, a little line drive hitter. Josh was just a talented athlete, and so those guys played as young kids. So yeah, they groomed us up. So one year we had, I think, 7 of the 9 players were Commos. So that's how twisted we are. We just, you know. So Raj, there's it could be season 1. You never know what is going to return. This project has been it's been a great project, eh? Yeah. It's been amazing. So we're going to have a couple of bonus episodes. Roger and I will both be involved, and hopefully we get a couple of videos up in the next week or something that'll be different than this one. So thank you very much, Miramichi people and people from around, my friends in Vancouver that gave me some comments. Thanks for the positivity, and it was, there she is right there.
Might be video on some horseshoes.
There might be some video on some horseshoes. Yeah, we're going to get some horseshoe games going out before I leave. So thank you very much, the local historian Roger. And this green, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? That's like his Boise Cascade mill when they had like a little, you know, Sunday morning hockey. Roger asked for 2 sets. There's a white version of this with the opposite trim, but that's a really beautiful green. It's cool. Yeah. So there it is, Raj. See you guys later.
These ones here.
Okay, one last thing before we go. I forgot to mention at the beginning. This is after we just recorded. Okay, so here's the paper, and we did 99. We started with 94. We went to 83, 84, then the 83 raft race. Then we did 84 and 85 raft race. We did 1985, 1999 for 4 parts, the 1960s, the 70s for 2 parts, 1987 for 2 parts, 88 for 2 parts, 96 for 3 parts, 89, we did 2005 for 3 parts, or 5 parts. We did 1986 for 4 parts. 3 more parts. We did 86 a year before. We did 2000 for 4 parts. We did the 1970s for a second time. Okay. Oh, you're down. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, sorry. Then we went to the 2000 for a 5th part. We did 1991, 92, 93 for 3 parts. We did 2001 for 6 parts. That was the most. We did 82 for 3 parts, and we finished with 1980. So we jumped around. We wanted to keep it, you know, a little bit fluid and moving in that way, and that's what we did. So there it is, Raj. We are done. We're going home. And that is the last spot from our sponsor right there. Look at that great picture that Amanda did of Raj, the local historian.